it's still, I think it's still a good fit. It's always going to be difficult. It's the final piece of the puzzle. But I think fundamentally, like, there were clearly bits where people got a bit lazy and thought time travel would be really cool. And they could make a joke about time travel and it would still kind of come together. I don't like the fact that Thanos, the way that he became a farmer. I thought I understood him going back to the garden and wanting to return to some kind of natural order, but that just looked a bit whack. I don't like the fact that certain people got killed, didn't get to come back. So I felt like there was lots of structural things that could have been fixed quite easily. And I don't know if any of you guys are comic book fans, but there's also comic book timelines which they could have used, which would have fixed it and would have made it better. But again, they don't want everyone to know what the ending was. You know, they wanted to make a secret reveal for everyone. But yeah, so I give it, like, I still think it's really good. It probably is 4 in rankings for me out of all the Avengers, because I still like Winter Soldier, still like Infinity War, I still like
Winter.
Civil War.
Winter.
So yeah, I could go on for ages though, so I'll just stop there.
You have to excuse the like Marvel Tourette's, so you have to just bear.
Winter. Anything with Cap and Winter, when they're really serious, they just mess up. Like they just own any film. When them two are serious, when Winter gets his Russian programming, that's when he's serious.
And there's very little
out with a machine gun.
There's very little special effects in that, and they still managed to make that
exactly
really kind of cool. Which
exactly,
is, yeah. Which I think they could have done with Black Panther as well. I would have preferred to see T'Challa's dad, and it be a little bit more old school than to see T'Challa, really. But again, that's another conversation for another time.
Okay, well, thank you, Elliot. Moving on to Jonathan. Do you want to just share with us your thoughts quickly?
Can you hear me?
Can
you not hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Aldo.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with you, man. I feel like a child because I thought the film was bad. I love the film, man. And I can hear what you're saying. I can understand what you're saying about how long it took to get moving. But for me, it was all part of the story. It all rolled with the story. Like after Infinity War, the series of events that they told, the story that they told afterwards, for me, it all fit. And it might be me being biased, but I couldn't see anything wrong with it. The only thing that I really thought that they didn't do that well was the, like Michael, I think it was, Michael said, the drop down after the events of Infinity War, where it kind of took a long time to build again and them finding out what they were going to do and then getting it done. But it worked in the film for me. I kind of like, I went for the ride. I was there and I like, yeah, I was in one of them cinemas where everyone was jumping up and down. People was feeling it. So I'm shocked that you let us say, compared to frigging Last Jedi and what Star Wars did, that film was
That's for me.
That film was called Star Wars.
I was looking for.
But Star Wars is struggling. Star Wars is struggling.
Last Jedi.
Yeah. Last Jedi, whatever it is. But I was looking for a story, something that just moved me, and that for me, Infinity War did it a little bit better because I didn't know what was coming.
Yeah, I was doing it as well.
With this one, part 2, it was more emotional, it was more storytelling, but it still did it for me, and I was happy with it. I thought it was good, man. I can't really. I'll come back with all your points if we're going to break them down. For me, I was like, yeah, it made me feel like a child again. And when a film does that for me is a win, man. I wasn't going to pull it apart. Like, there's obviously things I could pull apart, but I'm not a physicist. I'm not a technician or a scientist. So I can't really pull apart the time travel thing. It's just a theory that they used in the story, and I think they used it all right. So, yeah, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Keep it there, man.
Good. Okay, thank you, Jonathan. Emmanuel, you're up.
Yeah, I felt deceived though. I felt deceived. I thought I was conned a little bit, you know. I went out of the cinema. Okay, me and my brother went together, right? And then we watched the movie. I understood the pace of the movie at the beginning. It threw me off a little bit, and then I was like, okay, I'm coming to understanding that they're going over the grief and whatnot. And then the whole length of 5 years it takes for them to basically get their asses into gear because one rat steps over the controller and brings Ant-Man back from thingy.
Yeah.
It was timed, wasn't it?
Huh?
I thought it was timed. There
No.
was just a rat there. Oh, okay.
It looked to me like the rat switched it on.
Yeah. I know what you mean, though. Yeah,
I watched it twice, and I was like, the rat switched it on in the first one. I got to watch this the second time.
You got people flying from the sky and you're worried about a rat.
Yeah, but the thing is,
no, but I'm just saying, like, it didn't feel, you know, like when I've watched other films, it seemed to flow a little bit better. It seemed as though, like, the reason why I said I felt deceived is because I walked away from the cinema and I was like, hold on, what was that battle about? Because I didn't get the battle. Because
he said at the beginning, man, he's coming to shred the universe. What do you think?
No, but okay, look.
Yeah, what the hell?
Was no. Listen. Wait, hear me out.
It was quite clear.
I understand Infinity Wars, right? Thanos is going to be a bad guy if he gets all of the stones together. I got that, right? But in this one, the heroes had all the stones, had the gauntlet. Thanos comes through the portal or whatever to their time with nothing, but with not even a stone like he had in Infinity Wars. Infinity Wars, the starting scene was that he had the first stone.
He's a bad man without the stones, though.
Yeah, but
I know. Okay, he is a bad man
without the stones.
He is a bad man without the stones. But the heroes, I expected the heroes to be smart, because I thought, wait, Thanos has come through in the Infinity Wars. We was trying to stop him from having the Infinity Stones on the gauntlet. So if you've got the gauntlet and the stones, why did you not snap him away?
Because he wasn't there.
He would have.
No, he wasn't. They didn't know he was coming. Like he showed up just out of the blue. He figured out what they were doing and surprised them.
He was sat outside. He was sat outside their yard.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking after Hulk snaps. After Hulk does snap, yeah, he appears then. They weren't expecting him to turn up then. So when he appeared, he blows up.
Yeah,
he blows up the Avengers.
Who had the gauntlet?
They had the gauntlet, but he wasn't there.
Yeah, heroes had the gauntlet.
They can't snap him. They can't snap him if he wasn't there. So he weren't there.
All right, okay.
He wasn't in there. He wasn't part of their equation. All they were doing.
So then he's there. Then the whole big fight happens, yeah. And then they're trying to get rid of the gauntlet into the
van.
Yeah, the van. Why are you doing that when all of them heroes are there, and any one of them they're playing hot potato with the gauntlet? Like,
I can break it down. Shall I break it down?
Yeah,
but
don't break it down. Don't break it
Manuel,
down yet.
Yeah.
One more person who needs to be heard. But overall, were you dissatisfied with the film then? Is that?
Yes.
Sounds like.
Yeah, I'm not. It wouldn't be a 5 out. It wouldn't be a 5 out of 5 for me.
Okay.
4 out of 5.
3.5.
4 out of 5. Nice. Yeah, 3.5.
Okay.
3.5.
3.5. So Gavin,
3.5.
That's tough.
I'm my last.
Yeah.
Right.
We can hear from you.
You might be surprised, but I kind of quickly saw it for what it was. It's 2 films in one in my eyes.
Yeah.
It's a nice farewell to all these people, these characters that you've seen for the past 10 years, and they just wanted to have a bit of fun with their characters. And then it got back dark when Thanos came, because Infinity War was completely dark from the start to the end. It was just at a mad pace, and it was just from the time Hulk got beat up, it was just dark. I mean, the first thing you saw was it Thanos slay the whole spaceship in the Ragnarok crew or whatever it was, the colony.
That's right.
And it was just a dark film. So then to go from that to Professor Hulk and all that shit, you can't take it seriously. You've got to take it for what it is. And it was just these people wanting to say goodbye in a nice way to the fans. And then they got down to business for the last kind of hour when Thanos turned up again. So if you cut out the first bit, all the time travel and all that shit, and just stuck when he returns onto the end of Infinity Wars, it might actually make a bit more sense. It would look like that would look like one film. You might be missing a bit of how all the stones, how they all came back together. But all the humor and all that in between, to me, was just like, if that was a whole film like that, I would be vexed. But because it went back dark, I could see what they tried to do, and they just wanted to have a bit of fun. You've been playing this man for, 10 years? So what? All right, so he's going to go out fat, this, that. If he kind of, for example, if the film stayed dark and more people died, or even if Tony Stark died straight off the back of that, like, I don't think that's really fair. I don't think that's fun enough. Like, there's a lot of humor in Tony Stark's character. For him to go from space to come back to get beat up and dead, I don't think that's enough of a way to send him out. I think what they did was nice. I don't think it's one of the best ones. I think it's either fourth or possibly even fifth or sixth. I think Infinity Wars is by far the best of them all. Civil War's, then Winter Soldier, Black Panther, Iron Man 1. I kind of like Iron Man 1.
But if you're just grading the Avengers film on the, so it's just 4 Avengers films. I mean, that. Yeah,
the Avengers films are all shit apart from the last 2. Sorry, the first one is played out like you've seen it too many times. Like it just, and even when you go back in time, and
did you think it was shit when you first saw it though? Avengers Assemble, when you first saw it. It's only shit because you probably watched it over and over again.
And
it was shit. It was good at the end. The end. The last.
I don't buy that.
Yeah, I'm not buying that.
When it come out, it was sick.
Iron Man was good.
It's still sick now.
I think Iron Man
film's still sick now.
The costumes look a little mad now, but you know,
it looks dated. It looks like playing Master System or Mega Drive. It don't look. It's shaky and shit. It don't look good.
I think that's because they've got a lot of graphics in it, and it was the first of its kind, didn't it? Like,
exactly.
Just to cram everything.
The suits and stuff, you know.
It's too long. Okay. Age of Ultron, forget about it. That's just not. That's just terrible. That film's not good. Then Civil War is wicked.
Civil War's bad.
Yeah, Civil War's got to be like number 2 for me, or number 1 or number 2. I'm not really sure.
But that's not an Avengers film, is it? That's a Captain America.
Well, it's like Avengers 2.5, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. Well, then, if that's the case, out of 4 Avengers films, the first 2 are shit. The first one is borderline. It's now it's shit. It might not have been shit then. It's like saying, it was good then because there was no alternative. That's the only reason why it was good. Now you've seen what they could potentially do. Then now it's shit. Like it's not. It doesn't. I don't even think it reaches in the top 10 of them. To be completely honest, the first one, and probably Age of Ultron's last.
But in that case, then all films that are the first of their series should all be shit because they should get better with time.
Yeah.
So they're not shit in terms of their own.
But that generally is true.
Chronology.
But for me, Avengers still holds up. Guardians still. I mean. Yeah. I think Avengers 1 still good. Guardians 1 still good. I mean.
Would you sit and watch the whole of the Avengers, bro? Like the
of course I would.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
If you was on your couch at Christmas and couldn't bother to turn over the channel,
Avengers is one of those films that when it's on, I get stuck. I got to sit there.
Like anyone else that wouldn't watch the Avengers again, is it lost its appeal for anyone else? Because I don't feel like it has. I think it's still.
I only like seeing.
I watched them all again the other day.
Yeah.
I watched Endgame again the other day, and
you can't, man.
It shaked a little bit in comparison to Avengers.
What are you talking about? Avengers, the first one?
In comparison to the first one, I thought Endgame was a little bit shaky. When you watch it again.
Nah, let me tell you straight. The reason why it's shit and the reason why it doesn't stand up now is I can pull out a good few scenes out of all them films that have gone on since that just blow the whole film out of the water. Winter Soldier when he's running on the boat.
Oh, of course, yeah.
That's madness. Then the fight with Bucky, the stairwell scene in Civil War.
That's a long scene.
They've gone beyond anything of flipping.
That don't make the first one shit though. That makes the first one.
Yeah.
Because they're building on the first one, aren't they? Yeah, whatever they've done on the first one, they're improving on it. So
also, Winter Soldier can't be as good as it is without Avengers.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's a different tone as well. It's a different tone. They're all different tones. Avengers is like the big family kind of. The tone's different.
It's not a different tone. It's the same type of shit.
No, it's not.
But you know what it's like? It's like when you're watching the TV and you're watching something and you don't go in like 5 years' time when they're HD, oh, this is shit now. You realise that they built on that technology and built on the basis. And at that time, it was good.
No.
So you look at Ultra HD now compared to normal TV, you're going to say normal TV is shit. At the time, it's not shit.
It's not even about the technology, and there's not.
And what is it?
No, but in that
big of a gap. There's not even that big of a gap in technology for it to make.
No, I'm just using that as an example, not actual technology, but in terms of like your perception.
When you think about it, the highlights in the original Avengers, the first Avengers, is Hulk dropping from the building and getting caught. And if you really look at it properly, Captain America's scenes are the best things in it. Other than that, what else is there? Like, that fight in the forest?
Bringing them all together, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah, Avengers you're talking about.
Film.
Yeah. The first
Avengers got enough scenes in it, like Hulk when he first turns into Hulk and punches that thing in the mouth.
Come on now. I'm always angry.
When I saw that,
I'm always angry. The camera when it pans around them.
All them
Shakespeare in the Park.
Gavin, I get what you're saying about the look of it, yeah, but you got to remember how you felt.
I'm not talking about the look of it. That's what I'm saying to you. I'm not talking about the look, because I'm a massive Star Wars fan, and the original stands up against all of them still. But what I'm saying to you, it's about the storytelling and the actual action. It's dry. It's not as, like, when you could see what they've been able to do.
Get out of it, man. Get out of it.
But did you think it was dry when you watched it the first time when it came out?
No way.
I remember thinking there's bits where it's like, you know what, I could do without this bit. There's like too much shit going on, like too much talking. There wasn't enough kind of.
So are you looking for like continuous action? Like
it wasn't the Dark Knight. It wasn't the Dark Knight.
How do you watch a film? How can you? I don't know how you watch a film the first time.
Listen, no.
How would you watch the film the first time and go, they're talking, there's too much talking? Like, if you've seen
Okay, listen, I swear someone just said that they was looking around the cinema. How you talking about
that was me talking about Endgame, though.
Yeah, but then he just said, how do you watch a film for the first time and there's too much talking? That's quite easy.
No, but the thing is, the difference is Endgame is not the first time. It's a continuation of the rest of the series.
And that's the thing.
So what Iron Man is? So what I can have to discount. I watched Iron Man before that, so I have to discount that because it's not an Avengers. It's the same kind of thing. I saw Iron Man before that. Did Captain America come out before that? I saw that. I mean,
yeah, but it's like a sequel. Avengers is a sequel, isn't it? We weren't expecting.
Iron Man was better than that.
Okay, so guys, just so we're keeping on track, I want to come back to Endgame. So a couple of things that Michael said, I want us to all address. Each person, if possible, gets their thing.
Oh yeah, I've got two more things I just remembered about Endgame.
Go for it.
First of all, I thought it was quite cheesy at points. It's like there were certain points where I thought, hang on a minute, this is a bit too cheesy. It's kind of.
Was it cheesy, like cringe cheesy, or was it like
crazy?
Funny?
Like even just it weren't funny. They were trying to be funny at points, but it didn't quite work. Like even like
there's one that sticks in my mind,
but that's for them.
Huh?
You got to accept it for what it is. It's not a serious film in the first half. They're not trying to.
No, I'm saying that if you're trying to make it funny, but it's not funny, it's cringy. Like, it's cheesy.
You're talking about the Thor scene, the scene with Thor.
Most of them, yeah. This whole thing.
Yeah, but it's for the kids, man. That's for the kids.
Yeah, you got to have a little bit. Yeah, it's got to be balanced for family. You can't just completely rat it up the thing. Man can't just come and start. The fact that he cut off Thanos' head, I was like, whoa, we're going to do that? Is that what we're going to do here? That was a bit thrown. Like, how does your mom explain that to you at like 8 years old? Sometimes you just
apologize to my son.
No, but you're saying like the kids. This man's drinking. That ain't promoting for the kids, is it?
Yeah, but when his head got chopped off, I had to apologize to my son when his head got chopped off.
I was thinking, how are you gonna have a kid early? They did that in Infinity War, where they started off with an immediate like, I bang this guy, I bang that guy, the Hulk's over here, I'm dealing with him now, and now everyone's got to deal with the fact that we're vulnerable because the Avengers look like they're toast. So I felt like they were trying to do the same thing, but they just took it a whole step further, and I was a little bit thrown by that.
I don't think they did try and do the same thing. The man was a farmer, as you lot said. He weren't serious.
No, that's my point. It was a little bit like unfair. It was like in both scenes, there's a super unfair advantage. Like he's a farmer just picking papaya or whatever. I don't know what he was picking at. This woman turns up. She doesn't even talk to him. There's no conversation, and then he
seasoned his food as well. Did you see him?
Yeah.
He seasoned his little...
I mean, I just want to say a few things that I think that really kind of bugged me about the whole setup of it. Is I don't think they needed to go anywhere near time travel, and I think that was the bit that kind of threw me off a lot. Like it could have easily been a story about the reality stone. It could have easily been, Thanos has made them feel like everything is gone, but it's not really gone. So that he can get together and kill them all.
Yeah, but with the time travel, I think the time traveler has spoiled it though, because now why doesn't anyone just go back in time? I don't think they
I was having this argument with Elliot, wasn't I?
I don't think they put enough rules.
I don't get that. Captain.
It's the Wild West now.
Yeah, with the time travel, if they had made some rules that I could understand.
Didn't they? But Emmanuel, they did make some rules, didn't they? I feel like.
Okay. They made one rule that I remember is that was it not to come
asleep, man,
for himself or something.
It was a weird
and then they were talking about they were making jokes about all these other movies. It was like no. That all of that is fake.
Back to the Future.
Then, yeah.
So you didn't like
so now, like after watching that, it's just like, well, anyone can go back then if they got the pin particles or whatever.
Not only can everyone go back, but think about it, the fact that what's her name? I forgot what the robot girl. Not Gamora's sister. What's Gamora's sister?
Nebula.
The fact that Nebula has seen all of that means everyone inside the network of all 14 realities are picking up that information, which means all 14 realities of Thanos's can all at any point turn up now and just wreak havoc on the other 14.
You see,
but I have
no, but
she's dead. So
what about the other ones though? What about the other 14?
They got snapped out.
First and foremost,
the information wasn't snapped out.
Wait,
but this ain't the end of it, though, is it?
It's not the end. Spider-Man is the end. It's supposed to be the end.
Yeah.
Because
and they're gonna go into the cartoon one.
All right. The Spider-Man movie that's coming out is supposed to be the end of this stage.
But it's gonna play with the cartoon one. It's kind of long.
No spoilers.
But
it's in the trailer, though. It's in the trailer.
Not everyone's seen it. Deval, have you seen that trailer?
He's probably
no, I haven't. But it's okay. It doesn't matter. You can chat about it.
What I don't get is I could be completely stupid to this. Could someone explain to me how the fuck Captain America gets old and then comes back?
Yes.
Doesn't that not fuck up the reality for? Doesn't that fuck it up for everyone else?
Yeah, but he lived his life through their timeline, so he knew to be at that bench. Yeah. So he's just
I accept that. Yeah. But if he's like, for example, all the other events that have happened, all these other films, when he was off having his life with his missus, that means he probably wasn't on duty. Exactly. He had to he couldn't have been doing everything the same way. And
no, but but don't forget, Gavin, he's living his life not as Captain America, because he knows he can't mess up the timeline. But
remember when
he's turned up old.
I see what you're saying, Gavin. I see what you're saying. Because who did Captain America's duties when Captain America was off?
That's what I mean. He wasn't there the whole. He couldn't
have
been.
They're going to address that in a separate, like a spin-off show.
Okay.
But what you're saying is right, because they're going to address. Because I'm just saying it's a bit like.
That's a valid point, though, Gavin. I see what you're saying.
It means that he went back in time, and there was 2 Captain Americas. So how does that work? So they are going to address that, and that's something that I think a lot of people are speaking about as well, because it kind of leaves
nonsense.
Sorry, I don't understand. When would there have been 2 Captain Americas at the same age?
Because when he went back in time,
when he went back to get the stone,
he went back. He was meant to come back.
So, for example, Steve Rogers would have been like 35 back in the 40s, whilst the original Steve Rogers was on ice for 70 years. So by the time
but he went back to put the stone back when they took it.
Yeah, so he had to go back to that point.
Back to New York.
He lived his life like naturally. So when you come to present day, He's actually
Okay, and that's fair. Yeah, I understand all that.
So
That's
you're
not
saying he
my
hid
point.
out
My
while he
point
was
is
on ice?
exactly. So who did all the other Captain America shit whilst he was gone?
it's still everything's still the same. It's still
Yeah,
No, it's not. He's
no,
70, bro.
Gavin, I understand what you're saying now. It's the gap that Captain America was meant to be underneath the ice, right? That's the time when he lived his life. The real Captain America was in the ice.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
all the other stuff happened. All the
other stuff still happened. Yeah, still happened.
All the other stuff still happens, you know.
But can I just say something that makes a
What are
problem?
you talking about? That don't make no sense.
No, it doesn't make no sense.
That don't make no sense. This is worse than Terminator.
One at a time.
Someone explain Terminator to me. Terminator don't make
Abby.
no sense to me neither.
Yeah.
Abby, it doesn't make no sense because if you're saying that Captain America was frozen, that was the reason why he was still looking young, wasn't it?
Yeah, but that's why in this one he's old. So now he's 100
Yeah, but he's old. But he was 100 and something in this one. But then he's
so
still
when he went,
in the
when
same
he went back,
timeline. No, because the number of years. If you count the number of years, if the real Captain America that we saw went back in time, he was like over 100 years old.
Yeah.
The Captain America that we saw, who's looking old on the bench, he went back. He must have gone back. He must have like not done the experiment and became Captain America. But how did he live so long? Because he lived the same
That's a
life.
good point, to be fair. I know what you're saying.
He still did the experiment. Put it this way: everything happened that Captain America did up until the
All
ice.
right.
Because
you said that he did the experiment. Okay, now that you said that he did the experiment, if he did the experiment, how can you explain the aging then? When
it's still bullshit.
Because
it doesn't make no sense.
Because our Captain America from what's it called?
No.
Because
look,
bullshit.
You're saying, look, if you have
you lot are saying, wait, one
Captain
second, one second. You lot were saying that he lived his life whilst he was in ice. Yeah.
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 All right.
Second Captain America. So everything still happened with the first one.
But let's agree on something here.
Okay, so there was two at the same time at one point.
Yeah. The point I'm trying to make is that are you saying that both Captain Americas were born on the same day at the same year and they went through the same timeline up until the point when they were frozen?
Yeah.
It was only ever.
All right. Okay. If you're saying that, right, up until the point that they've frozen, then what you're saying is that they both went under the experiment to become super soldiers.
Yeah.
But then the one at the end is aged, and the one who was at the end at the same point, like 5 minutes difference, wasn't aged as bad. That doesn't make no sense.
It does make sense. What you're saying, because when he was frozen, he can't age.
Yeah.
But if he lived normally, he will age.
Yeah.
The serum doesn't stop you from aging.
But you know what?
He would just be an extra 10 years older, that's all. Because there's a 10 years that he's actually in Avengers where he's still alive.
I think basically
but then again, there's two of him then.
Yeah, so basically there was two Captain Americas at one point. Just one was old.
One's
By
10
the
years.
time no, it wasn't 10. When did he go under? He was under for about what?
No, but he's 10
years.
Yeah, but he's 10 years from Avengers, the first one, up until Endgame. That's about 10 years. So he's about 10 years older.
No. What the theory is when he went back to give the stones, what time did he go back to?
70 years, isn't it? It's an additional 70.
Yeah.
He went back to that point where they took it in it when he saw Peggy in the room.
But that was the 70s.
But guys, I don't.
No, before the 70s.
Oh.
No, they went back to the 70s to do that.
No, they went back again, didn't they?
They went back again. They went back further.
They went back again, even further, because they fucked up with the Tesseract.
Yeah, that's when they saw his dad.
In the 70s.
That was in the 70s. That was before the 70s.
That was before. No, it was 1970.
That was the 70s.
Yeah, it was.
It was 1970. It was 4th of April.
Yeah, so they went back to the 70s when they saw Tony Stark's dad before Tony was born. He was just going into labour.
That's right.
So it was the 70s they went back to.
It was 1970.
So then when he was frozen, what, in the 40s?
1945, yeah.
Right. So then when he went back to put the stones, where did he go back to?
Because
the same point,
the point that they took.
We don't know. They just said that they go back and put the stones back.
Yeah.
So it would only make sense if he went back to the 40s.
No, but the lady said you have to put them back at the same plot point.
Exactly.
Okay, so wait, so when he was dancing in the window, what era was that?
Dancing in the window.
But that was before the 70s.
He was watching her dancing.
It's not
No, he was
specific.
dancing with her. At the
He
very
was
end,
dancing with her.
Peggy.
Yeah, but it's
So
not
that was the
specific when it was.
40s.
That looked like the 40s. That looked like the 40s.
It had to be,
That's
because you got to
the-
think about
Yeah.
Captain America was about during the Second World War, wasn't he?
Yeah.
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 So it couldn't have been the 70s. It had to be before
No,
then,
it was
when
the
he was with
40s.
Peggy.
I think he put the stones back where they were supposed to be, and then he went. While Captain America was on ice, he went and lived his life with Peggy, had their life, and then obviously when Cap came out of the ice, he
was old.
Yeah, he told Peggy. I don't know what he told her, but he told her just chill. There's two of us. This is a situation. We're gonna be cool. Whatever. You know, just relax, kind of thing. You know.
Well, maybe she was dead. Didn't she die?
Yeah, I think she was dead. She must have died.
Yeah, but she died in Winter Soldier. Well, according to that timeline, she died in Winter Soldier of natural causes. Who knows when she died? Because he'll always outlive her because he's got the super soldier serum.
I think maybe he made her dead. Like he pretended it. Like she kind of.
We could speculate and.
Yeah, I think it's one of those loopholes that doesn't matter.
Yeah, but basically.
No, it does. It all matters. It's just.
Well, they're going to address it.
But
Until they address it.
Yeah, but
they
it
address
doesn't do the story.
full details.
It doesn't do the story.
Even what's her face? The Strange.
About this all night long, like the whole idea of time travel.
All night long.
Oh yeah, the other.
I'd rather not have to put the mute button on. But did the time travel element work? Like,
No.
Yes.
No.
No.
Yes.
The Doctor Strange bit didn't make sense neither.
It's not even time travel. That's the problem. It's not even time travel. You're completely going to different realities. Like it's not even time travel. So it doesn't work.
It don't work. It's jumping around.
They're in a different time, so in a way it is. It's just using a different method of doing it.
Yeah, but listen,
they're fucking with
timelines. Listen. You're not saying that time travel didn't work, yeah? When you're watching Prometheus and all other films, do you say that they shouldn't have been able to fly to them other planets?
Yeah, Prometheus is rubbish. It's garbage.
in all them films, you never question their reality because it's part of the film, isn't it?
That's what I was saying about.
I question Back to the Future, mate.
That's what I was saying about Inception, though. Like, you don't question the box, but because the themes are strong enough and the idea of the story is, valid, you kind of go with it. Because everything in that silver case is not enough to send everyone asleep, connect their minds, and put them into levels of reality. But my problem with the time travel thing is 90% of it, one, is unnecessary. The fact that we're going subatomic is also like catastrophically technical. And then to say that you're going to do that and time travel is like just ridiculous, because now what we're saying is that if, let's say, for example, Ultron, right, was to get hold of that technology, Ultron could be everywhere at every single point in time because he's a fucking computer. It's just
every reality.
Yeah, every reality. And then that means that also, because of the network of what's her name's head, she's connected to all the other girls in the other realities, which means every single Thanos now knows that at this period in time is the only time he gets to feed.
No, but then she has to be in that reality to connect. Yeah. The Wi-Fi's not that strong.
The only reason he found out was because
she was there. Exactly.
See, that was dumb in itself. Why did they send her? Did she need to be there?
But think about Thanos' reality, right? So Thanos has left his reality. A couple of him and his foot soldiers have left his reality. But anyone who's left behind, or anyone who knows anything about where Thanos has just gone, or the fact that Thanos has disappeared, has completely changed their reality. So we have no idea what's happening in another universe.
He took the whole crew. So if anything, that in that reality in 2014, it's a good life. That's where I want to be.
Wait, hold on. He took the whole. He took the whole crew, but we only saw him come through
the whole ship came through. Like
he opened it up, didn't he? Towards the end, and everything come through.
Yeah, everything.
But really important, guys, just to bear in mind that, and we're going with their theory because we can theorize it in so many different ways. But as the Sorcerer Supreme states, as long as if the stone's taken out, creates a new reality. But if you bring that stone back, that alternate reality should be okay. So we're just going to stick with what the Sorcerer Supreme said.
So then Captain America shouldn't exist.
All these different realities, we just stick with that because it could be anything. But they did kind of set the parameters, which I personally appreciated because there's other time travel films that don't do that. Looper, I'm not a big fan of.
You can watch that. Why did you watch that?
I won't go off on a tangent. I'm just saying that they did a good job, but he's trying to explain the way that the other realities wouldn't occur as long as they reset everything to the way it should.
Can I say something real quick? I tell you what I would really, really love, I would really, really love for them to make another film or to bring the Avengers back and just say that Thanos used the Reality Stone and just get sorted out from there, because I think because in the comic book he used the reality stone so many times to make everyone think that they won and they didn't win, and then he figured it out. But like that made so much more sense, and it was a lot less palaver. Like, you know,
that'd be cheap. They'd be like, it's all a dream. They used to really wear that magazine, Salt and Pepper and Heavy Deep in a limousine. That'd be just like that'd just be cheap.
Yeah.
No, but you don't. In the beginning, it seems like this time travel garbage, but then in the end, it literally is just a reality stone. Because that would have made. I know it would have been a bit like Disney, but it is Disney. It would have been a really Disney ending for everyone to come back. Because technically, Vision is gone. But but parts of him still exist, so you could bring Vision back if you really wanted to. Like, you can still use the Soul Stone to bring him back or whatnot. Because they said
in their reality, the Soul Stone's gone. In their reality, there's no stones.
Yeah, but before they returned the stone, they could have easily got what's her name from Wakanda to bring him back, because she said, "Oh, you lot did this wrong. You could have done it like this." So she knows what she's doing. So they could have had Vision back. It's just selfish. I think that's racist.
Racist.
They don't believe a black woman can do it. They don't think she can bring him back. That's kind of what it is.
But that means they'll be stealing people from different times. People be disappearing.
No. He's made from nothing. Remember, he's part Ultron and he's part G's, right? So,
but he's also got a stone in him. There's a stone in him.
Yeah, but they could take the stone out. That's the whole point of when they brought him to Wakanda, is to take the stone out. So if they can take the stone out, then Wanda can have her man in it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, I get it. Okay,
now she's not getting peeved, and now she's angry. So
okay,
all right. Wait, hold on. Can someone explain to me? What is it? A Scarlet Witch. Her power, right?
It's causality.
Yeah, it's chaos magic, isn't it? And stuff like that.
Yeah, it's chaos magic.
It's probability.
What does that mean? It's just. Does that mean it's just random then? Because
that's in the comics, though. I think here it's more like telekinesis, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a little bit different here, but technically, it's meant to be, she alters the probability of something happening.
Yeah.
On such a scale that's unrealistic.
In the comics, she's almost got the reality stone magic, isn't it?
Because one of the things I didn't like was basically the consistency in her powers.
Yeah.
When she's with Vision, she can't help Vision. Or when she's on the battlefield, she's able to.
Isn't it?
Well, they do that. They do that with all the women, though. All of the women, they
had a very strong female thing in it when they all lined up at the end.
Yeah, that was naff. That was cheap.
She's like, we'll take care of this.
I was just waiting for a tampon to fly across the screen. They shouldn't have done that one. It was terrible, man. They shouldn't have done that.
I didn't mind it.
The thing with Scarlet Witch, her powers are linked to her emotions, as you've seen. The more angry she gets, the more she can do.
Yeah, that's what
So
I'm
she wasn't angry when they were attacking Vision then?
Yeah, but she was protecting him.
She wasn't
protecting him and attacking at the same time.
She was fighting Thanos, though.
Just protecting and attacking at the same time, and he was injured. So she was flying away. She was flying him away and all that. And also,
there were two of them as well. And also, who killed her brother? Ultron.
Ultron, yeah. And that's when her powers went on overdrive, isn't it?
Can I say something as well? Like, I mean, this is maybe the elephant in the room. I don't know if anyone's going to bring it up, but I really hate Captain Marvel. I think it's.
I was going to say that as well. I was going to say, like, why did they struggle so much with Thanos when Captain Marvel's there?
I hate her.
She's like, well, first of all, I think as an actress, I can't get down with Brie at all. I find her really jarring. And also, that's not her character. Yeah. Captain Marvel should be more cocky and a bit more fun and a little bit more entertaining.
And black.
Whereas this is a little bit like... And the film is rubbish. The film that they made...
The film was terrible.
I agree. And then when she turns up to fight Thanos, I'm like, yeah, you should be able to fight Thanos, but I don't believe you. No one believes you here. Like, you're a mystery character that just popped up.
She's too late. She's too late to the party. That's
way too late. And also her story, her whole like origin story is just dead. The way they did it was so dead. Like,
it was crap.
Unnecessary.
Do you think that's the way? But do you think the way they fitted her? Do you think the way they did her in Endgame, that was basically partly to do with like all the publicity about her as well?
Nah, there's two reasons for that. One is that because in the comics she's part of SWORD. She's always like governing space and defending space. And two, because she's so overpowered, when she's around, things will get dealt with too quick, so she can't be around.
That's fine.
Like
when she's against... I get down with that. I get down with it, but they balanced it before. Like, you know, they balanced it with Thor and with Hulk before. They balanced it with Thor and Scarlet Witch and Hawkeye and stuff. So the balance can be had. I think the problem is just that no one likes the character. You just don't like
she's
her.
rubbish.
There's no interest in like her ability or where she's from or her character at all. Like her and Rocket should be having some sick banter. Her and Thor should be going toe to toe from time to time. Like they should be forming, you know, real relationships, whereas really all she is just someone who turns up and says, I'm busy, I'm doing something else, I'm busy, I'm doing something
You know
else.
what I think it is?
But then do you see why now the first Avengers worked so well? Do you see that? The first Avengers worked so well because they all were introduced individually and they came together and worked well. This is a good example.
Because they were on... Nah, man, it's because they were all on...
You don't want to
I'm gonna look at it from a production point of view. It's about the money, mate. They were all on that mad contract when they signed up originally, where they had to do 9 films or guaranteed X amount of films for a certain amount of money. Anyone else that comes in later,
character building.
but anyone else that comes in later is going to demand more. So then that's going to be less time on the screen. The only reason why,
I see what DeVal was saying though, because I felt there was a little bit more character building.
Yeah, it's a lot.
But they've all had 3 standalone films themselves, so of course they're going to have character building. She's coming now.
I don't understand Captain Marvel.
But he's had 2 films himself. She's had 1, and he's been in 3. So it's about money. And at the end of the day, that's what I felt shortchanged. That when they all just turn up at the end for 2 minutes, like I know it's going to cost a lot for all these people to come on. But if you had brought some back at different times and like made the story a bit more complex, it would have been more interesting. But to just give them that, it wasn't complex, bro. I'm sorry. I think they overcomplicated something that could have been done simply. If you're going to do time travel, first and foremost, you shouldn't have I agree with Elliot. You shouldn't have touched it in that manner because it leaves too many holes. And some of the best time travel films, even the ones they were mocking, to me still have holes, but still do it well. Back to the Future, there's still a bit of a hole in Back to the Future, but the first 2 are seamless. Like when you look at them in terms of time travel, it's great, but this is too many films to try and weave into one thing like that. They should have just stuck to something a bit more simple.
Yeah, but like I said, with the whole rules, like the Back to the Future, there were some rules that was put in place as well, like understanding about the whole time traveling thing. Whereas this one, they made jokes about it, but
because they knew they was about to do something. They knew they was about to do something.
Professor Hulk, he does mention it, like the present, the past.
Yeah.
Your present. You know, it's like
because they know they're about to do something that's going to create holes. So that it's almost like if someone's going to cuss you and you pull out your floor before someone cusses you, you can't say anything because they've mentioned that we're going to fuck up here.
But
so
also,
if you do fuck up.
That's not even Hulk's field. I don't even know why they pretended to just throw that in there. Like, Hulk knows nothing about time travel. He knows nothing about quantum space. That is not his field.
Well, he said that at the beginning in the diner.
Yeah, so what? And then all of a sudden now he's behind all the machines and he's pulling all the levers and you're like, all right.
Tony sorted him out, innit? Tony taught him.
Tony just sorted him with a GPS, that's it.
Read this book and take this degree.
There you go. He's Professor Hulk now.
He's clever. He's mad clever. He's mad clever.
That was a bit of a stretch. For me. I don't know.
Okay, so looking at the whole, like across all the Avengers, did it work? Because in my personal opinion, it definitely did. More so than we're probably giving it credit. Nothing has ever been done like this before at all of this magnitude. Did we be looking at all the like smaller elements of it, or should we be celebrating?
For me, you know what? Just to answer your question, it worked. For me, the reason why I was emotionally whipped by this film, because it had so many key signature moments that made me jump out of my seat. Cap picking up the hammer from the comics. I mean, that was crazy. Even for me, the second favorite bit was when he said "Hail Hydra" in the lift. That was heavy. Because you thought it was going to go Winter Soldier and fight everyone. Yeah. He just said 2 words that just ended the whole situation. Walked out. Heavy. You can't. I mean, that's right from the comics. Even I'm surprised there wasn't a little caption that just said "Hail Hydra" all in little white. You know, that come out of his mouth. It was perfect. There were so many little like signature bits that just because he'd been on the journey with the character.
But then there was Fat Four.
Yeah, but do you know what? If somebody was like if one of us, if one of us got in a scuff with some people, like another gang, and we had the power to end that scuff, and because we didn't do it properly, everyone died, we'll have like PTSD. You'll feel guilty. You'll feel like, oh damn, I should have gone for the head. Like, why didn't I do that? Like, billions of people, trillions of people died because I didn't go for the head. The guy's gone. He's gone mad. He's drinking. He's allowed to be. He's not perfect. Ford's never been perfect.
There's a power thing as well, because what you don't want is Ford running around just killing everybody because he's upset, because that's what he wants.
But that's bullshit.
Which is what Hawkeye did.
He's been bullshit.
You got to remember,
Hawkeye's not overpowered, so it's okay.
Ford's been through a lot as well. Like, imagine he's seen his brother get killed, all these people.
Yeah, he's lost everyone.
Oh, you're not taking it too deep, mate.
He's lost the most.
That's what I'm saying. How can we take it too deep? And you can see the result happen.
Yeah, but there's been a joke since
Ragnarok. So that's where he
Ragnarok.
is now. He's drunk, he drinks,
he's been a joke since.
So that's where he is. It makes sense to me, and it worked in the film. That's why I can't really. We're picking out all these little things. For me, it all works as part of the
Fat 4 was unnecessary, man. Fat 4 was unnecessary.
So he should just be regular. That what you think? He should be regular.
He should be. If you're depressed, be
depressed. Should have been manifested in a different way than it's easy to make him fat and drink.
But how can you tell?
I'm gonna get on the plane because there's beer on it.
Yeah, but you can't tell someone has to manifest it. Yeah.
No, but in the film, like, it was cheap going, oh yeah, I'm gonna come along with you because there's beer on the plane.
But you need those
Come on, man.
He started a tear in his eye. It wasn't like
it's like
joy. He was kind of like.
I'll tell you what's the equivalent of. I'll tell you what's the equivalent of. You see in Force Awakens.
Okay.
Han Solo is now a general, but yet he's still fucking smuggling shit. Like, seriously, you've got so much power, like, and control over the universe. You're still running these kind of backhanded things and getting chased by pirates.
Yeah, but that character can exist, though. That character can exist.
Not to that degree that you're getting chased out by pirates.
It can still happen, though.
If that's in your DNA, that's what you. That's you as a person.
Yeah, but it's not about his DNA no more. It's about his stature. He enjoys
it.
What if he didn't want to
do it for years?
Maybe he wants to do what he does. What he feels comfortable doing. Yeah.
That's just one element you're picking on. I mean, I'm talking about the whole thing. Does it work? Did they succeed? I mean, obviously by the box office standards, they have.
Of course, they're going to succeed by the box office.
They
succeed based on the fact that Infinity Wars were that good.
Exactly, because they knew everyone would watch it, knowing that Infinity Wars was that good.
Let me say what what annoys me, is the fact that we spent all this time collecting all the Infinity Stones, right? And we never see the Infinity Stones really getting used. And I think that's the bit that really annoys me, because like, people have been chasing for these things that are super, super powerful. And when people manage to get hold of them, it doesn't really seem like people really want to exercise. This is the power of the universe.
I think Thanos used them.
In Endgame,
I think I saw them get used.
No, because
Are you talking about in Infinity Wars, or are you talking about in Endgames?
I'm talking about the entire.
No, to be fair, bro, I saw they got used, man. They got used.
Infinity Wars.
Wait, let Elliot finish.
But my point is we never saw anyone really using the Mind Stone, right? We never really we see Thanos using the Space Stone to move around, but it's just for him, really, just to move around. The
Reality Stone got used.
We see him use the Time Stone once to bring back the Soul Stone. We don't see him use the Soul Stone, and the Reality Stone. We only ever see him use that to turn what's his name?
Gamora
into cubes.
Yeah.
And so my point is that even when he uses the Reality Stone to like make the world more, is it more right that he tried to make look like it was?
That's why I used it twice.
A normal place. It looked crap. That effect was terrible. So my point is the reason why I think it doesn't work is because the Infinity Stones are not sought after enough, or don't really seem like connected to the Eternals and the essence of the universe enough for me to feel like they are integral to the storyline. Like, it still really is about these characters, not really about like what these, because in the comic books, the Infinity Stones, when anyone else gets the opportunity to have them, it takes them over. Like, the power is so awesome and so makes them so omniscient that it changes their whole behavior. Whereas in this, they said, if you try and use it, you have to click your fingers. It's not like you can use the stones individually. You can only click your fingers. And that kills the whole premise of the.
I think if they had used it more, like what you're saying, that would have been another film, because it would have then made it look like it's that difficult to beat him. It would have been near impossible to beat him. You couldn't do that in 2 films, beat him if you saw it more. And I'll say, for me, just the glimpses I saw of what potentially could become of them things. I think when he did that move with when he I think he knocked, was it Captain Marvel?
Captain Marvel, yeah.
Yeah, that when he took the stone and just So I kind of saw that you got to see the potential power of it in glimpses. If you saw the full
we've
power,
seen it. We've seen it for how many films now? What more do you want?
Yeah, but I've never seen a person use a stone against another stone wielder. Like, you've never seen the stones operated, and you've never seen the stones operated in a way which they are actually independent of each other. And the potential.
Yeah, I get it. Okay, I get it.
That's what I think. Do you know what I think? That's what I think makes it so makes them so dramatic as a power, because it's like they're so powerful that people don't really want to use them, because they don't want. Like, remember in Collector, when the girl tries to grab the Power Stone, I think she blows up the Collector and she blows herself up. People don't know what it is. People can't handle that power, and I think that's what
they've done that for the films, though. They've done that for the films. In a comic book, it doesn't quite work like that.
Yeah, but I think they're going to save that for his mum and dad. Like when they come into it, what's them called again? They're going to use them for them. You're going to start seeing that.
There's going to be any more stones, not for that.
No, you don't think so?
No, I don't think so. No, we're done with stones.
That's my point. You can't use the stones again. It just feels like the stones are just a plot point and not really an immense weapon.
But the Eternals are kind of a prequel, so you could potentially.
Yeah, I know you can, but I don't think they will. That'd be cheap.
It's complicated as well.
Nah.
I bet they will.
Something fresh. Yeah. Give us the cube. The what do you call it? the what's the cube called again?
Tesseract.
No, the cube. Like the one where you can like imagine what you want.
Running Transformers.
No, the cube in Marvel.
The Energon cubes.
Energon cube.
No.
Well, I think they need to fix Inhumans. If they're gonna start messing around, fix Inhumans. Don't do the dumb TV series that you tried to do. Like, keep the universe intact. Like, make sure people are looking after the characters and not doing these rogue. Don't end up doing a DC where like all of your characters are being abused and people are just doing whatever the fuck they want with storylines, because I think that's horrible when that happens. It's hard.
I think they've made their money now.
That's the reason why Marvel's like done so well compared to DC, isn't it?
No, but if you think about
they're not afraid to like chop and change, like.
Yeah, but what they did with Netflix, they started off really well, and then they tried to expand too fast, and all of those other stories and characters started to crumble and fall apart. Right. And I think what they should do is just be very careful and just, well, they already are. They're very considerate of all their characters. Every single one of their characters has a supervisor whose sole job is to make sure that individual character is perceived well. Whereas DC doesn't have that. They've only got it for Superman and Batman. So everyone else is like just whatever. Like, you don't get any kids running around wearing a Martian t-shirt or running around wearing, they might wear Flash, but no one really wants to be just Flash. You know, you like.
Yeah, my son did.
Does he? Yeah, but does he? He did. Oh, okay.
Well, he doesn't. He's into football now, but yeah.
Yeah, but like, people want to be Spider-Man, and individual people want to be Hulk, and individual people want to be Captain America. Individual people want to be, you know, whatever. I want to be Thanos. Like, I'm like, now I'm being Thanos all day long.
Get off this forum, man. What do you mean Thanos? Get out of here.
Yeah, Thanos is a Thanos. I believe in Thanos.
In
this world needs Thanos. This world needs
in
Thanos.
Infinity Wars, I actually enjoyed the ending that Thanos actually won.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah.
And that was a change for me.
That wasn't actually meant to be the original ending. It was not meant to end there. It was actually,
How was it meant to
I don't care, but I thought it was good. I thought it was good because I was rooting for Thanos, you know.
How was it meant to end, Abby? How was it meant to end?
So they were going to end it where he actually gets all the stones. That was meant to be Infinity War, and Thanos has all the stones, and the actual Endgame was going to start with him getting the. There would have been a totally different end.
So why did they decide to do a snap to line it up for the Endgame, innit?
Yeah, but they wanted to make it more dramatic.
I want them to give Black Panther all the stones. I want them to give him the gauntlet like they did in the comics. But they can't do that, because how's he going to eat that? How's he going to eat the power? He's going to get blown up.
Yeah, it's too powerful for him.
That's what I'm saying. So they shouldn't have changed that. They should have just left it that you can have the stones if you get the stones, period. If you're a bad man and you can manage to kill off enough people and get the stones, you can do what you want. Because otherwise, now it's just like, well, no one can really get the stones except for everyone that's super high powered, which means only the people who are already too powerful can be super powerful. Well, what's the point? I don't understand.
Sounds like
that wasn't necessary.
Sounds like white privilege. Sounds like society.
It's true.
It is. It's like power begets power that begets power. It's don't make no sense. And the thing is, when Black Panther gets the gauntlet, and when Scarlet Witch get the gauntlet, it evens up the playing field and makes things more interesting. Whereas when Hulk gets the Infinity Gauntlet, it's just too much. How are you going to give the most powerful creature that only gets bigger as he gets angrier an Infinity Gauntlet, and he ain't that bright? That's just a catastrophic error. But anyway, so that's going off on another tangent. Abby, I gotta go. I gotta shoot, guys. I can't.
Okay, just quickly before you go, Elliot. I don't want to get this from everyone. But who's your favourite Avenger across the whole thing, and why? Just quickly.
Who's going first? Who's that?
You, because you got to go.
I think Thanos is actually an Avenger, really, because he was with them part of the way. Like he wanted to solve problems.
Yeah.
He just wanted to murk everyone. So no, I mean, if I can't pick Thanos, I'd probably say it's got to be Black Panther, because like his lineage and his behavior and his conduct, and the fact that when he came back with zeal. I like that.
Sure.
I like that.
Okay.
It's got to be Cap.
What was the question?
Who's the best Avenger?
Who's the best Avenger?
Oh yeah, for me, Cap.
Already got.
It's got to be Cap. It has to be.
Cap.
Cap's MVP. He's definitely MVP.
Cap.
Yeah.
Cap is the same. Cap is the same person without his powers. He was always willing to fight, lay down his life. He jumped on the grenade. You know, he's in the alleyway when he was skinny, saying he can do this all day. No matter what, he's been the same person then. He's the same person now. Now he's got the ability to do what his heart allows him to do. He's willing to die for any one of his teammates. He's not the strongest in the team, but he leads the team. That's what I like. I don't want Captain Marvel, who's strongest, to lead. Doesn't make sense to me. Someone like him, who would always look at Civil War. He was ready to go down. He's ready to. He's like blimmin' Ned Stark. He believes it so strongly. He'll do it, and he'll make sure he takes whatever he believes to the grave if he has to. And that's for me. That for me makes him the best Avenger.
Guys, it's
okay.
Cool.
Easy, man.
Have a good night. Okay, Gavin. Favorite?
What's that?
Why?
Captain America.
Why?
Because he's just been the most consistent, and he says I think his films are all strong, and he's probably got the best scenes out of pretty much all of them within those films. Like when he fights, you feel like he's having a fight, like he's having it, and he can hold it, and he goes up against anyone. It's not like he's shying away from anybody any size. He's holding it against Thanos. He'll go up. He's just throughout his films. He's just been probably the strongest. He's been the first in the fights the whole time. So yeah, he's probably out of them films my favorite Avenger.
Okay.
Him.
Michael.
You know, I'm gonna say Iron Man. I say that because he's similar to Batman in the sense that his power is his intelligence and his wealth. And so anytime he's going into fights with gods. And all he's got is his suit. You know what I mean? And also, I think he's got the most interesting character arc because he's conflicted in the sense that he's very selfish and narcissistic, but then he realizes that, I mean, forget the fact he's got a kid and a wife now and he's living happy, he wants to be with them. Even before then, like he wants to do good, but he hasn't been raised to do good, if that makes sense. He's been raised with a silver spoon in his mouth.
He had been racist. Isn't that what the whole thing was in the first place? In the first one, he thought they were doing good. Then he chose to, what did he do? He said he's going to stop making guns.
Yeah, but he's profited of that. It's not like he's saying, I'm never doing it again.
But he didn't realise where they were going until he got put in the cave and he realised he's financing wars and shit and tyrants.
But even still, even like in Ultron, rather than saying, "Well, I want to get rid of it, I'm going to improve it so it's going to be better and it's going to save everyone." So like he's got an idealistic point of view that weapons will save people.
But it wasn't really. He's not. But his weapons are more defense.
They're not defense.
It is. It's defense systems he's trying to set up. It's not like he's trying to attack. I don't know. I think he's always been. You think he thought he was doing good the whole time, but he's. I think the conflict you're talking about, I get, but I think that came too late. Like for him to have that realization within the last 2 films after he's done about 5.
No, but it was even before then. When he went through the thing, when he went through the spaceport with the nuke.
The first Avengers.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was sacrificing his life then and there.
Yeah.
No, he just likes the hero card. That's what it is. It was about him. It's about him being the hero.
I think he's been. Him and Cap have been through that journey where Iron Man has been basically all about himself, and so much like Captain America. Whereas Captain America in this one, we've seen him like basically be the man for everyone, but he's then becomes and takes the selfish route, and then decides to go
for
back
the first time.
So, Emmanuel, your favorite then?
So it's like a development between both the two characters. Whereas we've seen him in Iron Man, he basically takes it upon himself. He says that line where he takes it upon himself that if he was to lose Spider-Man or something, then it would be his responsibility, because he said that to Spider-Man in, what was that?
First Spider-Man.
Yeah, in the first one.
Oh,
yeah. Back, Elliot. You couldn't go away.
It's not allowed out.
What's going on, man? You tried. I did. What's happening? Anyway. Okay, so Emmanuel, who's your favourite? You haven't told us.
Me?
No, Emmanuel.
Oh, sorry.
Man.
Okay, we'll come back to you. Jonathan.
Yeah, come back.
Jonathan.
Yeah, my favourite is a close one between Captain America and Iron Man. Like, I think they're both 2 sides of the same coin. I think Captain America probably just edges it because of some of the scenes he has, but I think Iron Man was one of the only ones that fought Thanos by himself. So, like, they're both up there for me. I think they're both up there. But honourable mention to Thanos, the baddest character, baddest villain in any of these films. From when they first unveiled him in Infinity War and he bang up Hulk in the first 5 minutes, I was like, this villain is real. And it made it feel real.
Yeah. The cinema gasped.
Yeah.
The whole cinema went, oh shit.
And the thing is, it was like in the first 5 minutes with no stones, or however many stones he had, stones, he smacked up Hulk. It was like
also,
everyone.
Weren't Thanos badder in Endgame than in Infinity War? Because he had no stones.
I agree with that. I think the Thanos that was in Infinity War was the calm, like peaceful Thanos, because he had the stones and he knew what he was trying to do. But the one in Endgame was like warlord Thanos. He's like coming to take everyone. He's coming to get off the whole universe. He ain't even got those stones. And I think the baddest scene was when he was sitting down when he broke up, when he messed up the thing, and he was waiting for him to come. He's never fought him before. He knows they're gonna like come with everything because of what the other Thanos done in his time, and he's just sitting there, and he's like, I'm gonna take these people apart. He just said,
Nebula asked him, what are you gonna do? He said, I'll wait. He's gangster.
Wait.
Me and Jonathan, we've actually had a chat about this, because initially when I saw Infinity War, I was probably one of the few people that was really unhappy and dissatisfied by how whack the Hulk got battered. I hate it. And I actually said,
that's great.
And I actually said, he's only got 2 stones and he's battered up. Well, no, 1 stone, I think, at the time.
He didn't use any stones, though. He
didn't use it. But that's the whole idea, that he barely had any stones and he's just defeated the strongest Avenger. There's no chance for anyone else. So
I don't get it like that.
That was a good. I think that was a good place to start. I think it was a good place to start.
And that show.
It's a slap in the face for the audience. The audience has to realise this is a different type of villain.
And it wasn't even the fight. The fight wasn't the real thing. It's when Ebony Moore said, "Let him have his fun."
Let him have his fun.
And it wasn't based on. It wasn't actually based on brute strength. It was based on intelligence.
Yes.
Because you saw what Thanos did. He let him fight and figured out how he's going to come at him and countered him.
But my point is that early on, it kind of showed that he doesn't need the stones to beat them, and with Endgame, they confirmed that, which I really enjoyed. Like, he didn't need the stones to beat the Avengers at all. He was unbeatable in that sense. The only reason that the stones just allowed him to achieve his end goal, that's all he had the stones for. Even when he's fighting with them on Titan, using the stones almost just to see how he can use them or what he can do with them. The only one that he really needed to use the stones against was Doctor Strange. Outside of Doctor Strange, he could probably batter any of the Avengers.
Yeah.
It's just the stones give him that extra edge. But that was one of the few things I was really happy to see. That was just
hold on. Thor could give him a good go though, because like they were having a decent battle when he came back with Stormbreaker. So like it wasn't like it.
Yeah, but he banged up Thor in the second goal.
Yeah, he wouldn't have won. He wouldn't have beat. He wouldn't have.
But that's fat Thor.
But like,
Thor likes technique. Thor likes technique.
Stormbreaker. Without Stormbreaker, Thor wouldn't have stood a chance at all.
I wouldn't say Thor likes technique.
The only one who would have stood a chance.
Nah, he gets battered all the time.
Not in Ragnarok.
Every film that falls in, he gets beat. He gets beat
Ragnarok,
up.
he was holding it. So that's not fair.
Against Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one time. But even in a Dark World, that kind of big thing battered him up.
Yeah. What about in Avengers 1?
His sister battered him up.
Yeah, his sister
battered him up. Avengers 1, we didn't really have he had a fight with Hulk, and that was it. So I guess against Hulk, that's it. But everyone else batters him.
Yeah. Actually, do you know what? Obviously, my favorite Avenger, goes without saying, but it's purely because he's been the most consistent. Like every one of the other Avengers, has some sort of flaw, weakness, some bout of doubt, whatever. But
he's fearless.
Most consistent, most like glue type element to the whole thing.
Yeah.
And the most.
He's got the best fight scenes.
Yeah, best fight scenes, just the most. I mean, I could sing his praises all day, but he, even right to the very end, my man, he is just a man, and he's battling godlike figures. Knowing that he probably doesn't stand a chance, but he's giving it his all. Like that's.
He's always been like that from the start, though. Even before he became Super Soldier.
Yeah. So in terms of an arc, he hasn't got much of an arc of change. It's consistent. So you might not like him for that reason, but he is a very good character to get behind. I can't.
Yeah.
You can't.
There was something I wanted to raise earlier on that I forgot, and now it's just come back to me. Is that what I didn't like about Endgame is that the vision that Iron Man had of them losing is such an iconic look, and for that not to reappear in Endgame, that really messes me a little bit. Like I wanted to see them all slumped over with their shields and hammers and stuff all lined up, and I wanted to see Thanos on his like space chair, like locked on an asteroid or something and I felt like because that was missing, that's where we miss being able to see people being tested to their like upper limit. Like I know they tried to do that by like having Captain America get murked and then have to call on Mjolnir and then Thor get big and all that kind of stuff. But I've just felt like that iconic sequence of being able to see the Earth in the background and then have that space battle, I think was missing. And I think that's why some bits you can't cherish certain parts of like what has happened throughout the rest of the universe without that bit. You just need it. You need to see people absolutely brutalized by Thanos in that scene, and it just was missing. But yeah, I just thought I'd bring that back up because you never see it again. It doesn't pop up at all.
You're not really meant to remember it either, I don't think.
Yeah, because that was a different Thanos as well. The face was different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are lots of moments when you go across all like 20 odd films, you'll see there's certain things. Right, I kind of don't think that they had the end goal completely in mind. Like they have a few things, but they might have known where they wanted to get to, but the journey to get there wasn't 100% mapped out. So I don't know. I think there's a little bit of leeway.
Do you think it was the mapping out or the execution?
No, I think the execution. I don't think you can. I don't think. I'm not complaining about that. It's just certain elements of it. That just wasn't 100% mapped out, or they had an idea of it maybe 7 years ago, and realised that it can't go that way for whatever reason. But overall, I think they still succeeded in putting the whole thing from beginning to end. The execution for me works, but it's just.
I would have loved to have seen them bring Ultron in there, just even if it was for like a little bit. I'd love to have seen Ultron try to take the stones from Thanos, and just in the beginning sequence, and just Thanos just be like, "You have to be joking, like you're not on my level, like you think you're intelligent."
I wouldn't have wanted to see Ultron at all, mate.
Ultron was
Ultron was whack.
Ultron is not good. That's not the Ultron that should have come back.
Ultron is whack.
Yeah.
Oh, because he's whack, he should have got destroyed. That's what I'm saying. I would have loved to have seen like the beginning with like Ultron like getting his forces together, getting ready to take on Earth, and then the Thanos just turns up and says, "Nah, it's not for you, bro."
It would have been like bending a metal hanger.
But I want to see it. I want to see him be destroyed properly, because he wasn't destroyed properly. Like in Age of Ultron, that was a bit weak. Like, yeah, come on, man. The moment you connect to the internet, you're gone clearing it. That's it. That's the end. But
that's what Jarvis did. I told you, innit? Jarvis flushed him out of the internet.
Yeah, but come on, flushed him out of the internet, man. You posted a meme online and it's come back to haunt you like eight years later. Like the internet is forever. Like what's my man who's got caught
James
out
Gunn.
looking at that girl on a step out?
Going back to him.
Who's that?
Like every year.
Who's that?
Every year. You can't.
Dominic something, isn't it?
Dominic Soler or something.
That's the one.
Looking at the chick.
How's Ultron not disappearing? He's gone clear, bro. That's why I would have liked Thanos to turn up and deal with the thing, just to show how much better he is than everyone else. The fact that because it's a really good way to get rid of Ultron as well, and kind of like do away with that plot point.
I reckon he might come back. He may come back.
He might, yeah. They might bring. I wouldn't bring him back, though.
Yeah.
Don't bring that shit back, man. Ultron was awful, and don't bring back the Hulkbuster suit neither. I don't want to see that shit no more.
They didn't do it properly as well. It was silly.
It's just whack.
I didn't like it.
What do you mean, Elliot?
The Hulkbuster suit.
Oh, right.
It didn't seem prepared for Hulk. It's just like a suit that you could slowly peel back.
Veronica, he helped design it.
Maybe you knew too much.
Yeah, that's very true. Okay, well, we're gonna wind this to a close, because we could probably talk about it forever. But I think just want to thank everyone. But before we go, I also just want to inform you of two things. One of them is that is a member of the Flicksters on this sort of debate, the Val, of the Flicksters. He has like a really good podcast that he and Amar do, and they talk about all kinds of cool films, shows, and they've got a really great review on their latest podcast.
I listened to that yesterday. It was wicked.
And also,
wicked.
About like a little Easter eggs. A little review of the Avengers where he goes through all the little Easter eggs that you might have missed as well. So that's worth a check. So yeah.
Anyone want to say anything on Black Captain America?
Yeah.
Thanks, Abby, by the way.
That's another one of satisfying an agenda.
But you know, the original Captain America is black anyway. You know that, right?
I know. Yeah.
So
I just
I'm
think,
down for that.
I'm down for it, but it's just too late.
It's late, yeah. But I think he'll get.
He doesn't want to come and do it though. Huh? He doesn't want to do it though. He doesn't want to do it.
He does.
Yeah,
he does.
He didn't look like
he's
his
doing it with Bucky, innit? And they're doing a TV program.
No,
I'll try my best.
In Endgames, yeah, but in actual, like, he doesn't want to do it.
What do you mean?
In actual
what?
What do you mean?
I've heard that he doesn't actually want to do it.
Of course he does.
I mean, his heart didn't look like it was in it though.
All right. I don't think he's.
Anthony Mackie has signed up for as many films as they can give him. He's all up for it.
Really?
I think they're doing a TV program of it, innit?
I hope it's not.
Him and Winter Soldier are doing a Disney show together, but I don't know if it's going to be capped by then.
You know what? I hope that Disney doesn't just milk the shit out of this thing and make it whack like they did with Star Wars, man.
What do you think they're going? What do you think Disney do?
I think that's going to happen. I think that's going to happen. So that's why I'm happy. This Endgame for me is the end of the good stuff. So anything after that, who knows what's going to happen? We've enjoyed the good ride.
Spider-Man's the last one.
That's what I mean.
And get Wesley Snipes back in and get him to do the proper. Bring Spider-Man in it. Bring Spider-Man and put him in the trade and let's see what I got in it. I want to see that.
I think the Vaz touched on something that I was going to end with as well. It's just that whole idea that what we've experienced, what we've witnessed over the last 7-8 years, this is as good as it's going to get. I know it sounds really pessimistic, but there's no way that they're going to be able to cover it any better than they have done. I think.
I don't know. I don't fully agree.
Definitely not money-wise, anyway.
I don't fully agree. Not in terms of scale and money and blockbuster-wise, but in terms of pure story. That new Batman that's coming out.
I'm talking about Marvel. I don't know about.
Okay.
Well, I think I would. The only thing that I think that might top this is if they get the full rights to X-Men. That could blow the whole thing up. Because them redoing that, I think that now that they know what success looks like and they know that they got to pay attention to the characters and they're going to be thankful for getting their characters back. I think that could be bonkers.
I kind of disagree. I don't think they would. I think X-Men's been done so many times.
No,
that it's like the Spider-Man.
Logan's a good example of what it could be.
Yeah, but they're not. No, Logan was a joke, man. That's just too.
What? That's a whole nother debate.
Pure violent film.
Okay, so guys, just because this is recorded, I'm going to close this out. We can continue another debate. The other thing I was going to mention is that there will be another one on Game of Thrones. That's the next big point of discussion. Thank you for coming on. Appreciate the time. And if there's... Sorry, I had to press the button. But yeah, just thank you for coming on. Have a good night. And look forward to seeing you again on the next one. Have a good night, guys.